Mitch, there's word out there that the Knicks may rain on the Sixers free agent parade.
Yeah.
I don't know or whatever, but I'm hearing the Knicks may rain on that parade. We'll talk about that more next on Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. As playoffs wind down, the sports stop sporting like we want them to. But this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone, every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com/locked on to get started today. Hello, I'm Keith Pompey. This is my right-hand man, John Mitchell, and we are the co-hosts of Locked On 76ers. We got a lot to talk about today, but Paul George thing, it seems like it might be a sign and trade. Some people think it could be. And one of the teams, Mitch, that people are talking about him going to, the New York Knicks. And we got to break that one down, bro, because that would be a hurt piece for the Sixers. And we'll talk about that. In the second segment, Dejounte Murray. We've been talking about a lot of guys who they could trade for, who they can get in free agency. But Dejounte Murray could be a good, affordable piece for the Sixers.
Good piece, too.
Good piece. And the third one is, if Zach Edey is available, if Isaiah Collier is available, which one are you going to select in tomorrow night drafts, assuming the Sixers keep the pick?
Right.
We got a lot to talk to y'all about today, but Mitch, break it down to me. The New York Knicks, they beat the Sixers last year in the playoffs, and now they got more assets than the Sixers to get a Paul George in a sign and trade.
Yeah, it's a concrete jungle nightmares are made of. They I mean, you would figure after they traded R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel quickly to Toronto in the Anunoby deal that they would think, okay, we're sitting pat and we're going, we like we did. We beat the Sixers. We got to the second round, first time, second round, first time in quite some time for them. But they've got 8 tradable first round picks heading into the draft, including 4 of their own. And the 4 picks from those other teams are protected. But the one thing that they really have is they still got a lot of draft. They've got way more draft capital than the 76ers do. They've got Julius Randle. People, he kind of became an afterthought, once the playoffs started and Brunson just emerged as a superstar on Broadway. They still got Dante DiVincenzo. They've got Mitchell Robinson, and they've got Isaiah Hartenstein, and they're all trade eligible players, man. And when you look at what the 76ers do, particularly with Paul George, now, the days of our lives, NBA version continues to roll on. It kind of makes sense for him to go ahead and, opt in and force that trade, because there are teams that, out there that will pay him what he's looking for. And the Clippers just seem like they're dug in, and that they won't pay him that 4th year and pay him more than Kawhi Leonard. So, man, New York tormented Philadelphia in the playoffs, and now in the offseason, man, they are in position that if this scenario plays out, but then again, all that talk that Paul George said about, I want to play the right way. One thing, you have to consider is, you're not playing the right way. If he goes to New York, they might grind him down, and overuse him, but they certainly will overuse him. So that's one of the negatives. But if he wants his money and he wants to play on the largest stage, there's Madison Square Garden and the Knicks, man, trying to disrupt the 76ers off season.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I will say this. It makes a lot of sense if the Clippers don't want to keep, and if Paul George definitely wants that 4th year, and if they know there's certain teams that they have a feeling that they're guaranteed, I think this comes to Paul George's agent saying, look, these are the teams we want to go to. And it's up to the Clippers to reach out to those teams and see, what they're willing to give them, right? Because I think it's in both sides, both interests to do a sign and trade. And the reason why I'm saying that is if you don't want to give them more than 3 years, $150 million, but he wants 4 years, 221.
Right.
Well, it don't do you any good for just letting them walk out the door and you don't get anything back for a future Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
So what you got to do is you got to figure something out and walk out and make both people happy.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at this team, you say, okay, Julius Randle, a guy who comes off the books after next season, after this upcoming season, so in 2 years. So it's kind of like,
That's some flexibility for him.
That's some flexibility. Now, he's making $28.9 million, right? And like you said, they got Mitchell Robinson. You got DiVincenzo. You got, small salaries too. So, my thing is, it's kind of like that is the perfect fit. And DiVincenzo is making what? 11.4. Julius Randle's making 28.9. I could see that right there.
40.
Yeah, I could see those two guys. Now, again, I don't have any background knowledge. I'm just throwing salaries together to see, because I don't know if I want to get rid of Josh Hart after what he did last year.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. If you can go out there and you can sign OG, and you can and if you could go out there and sign OG, then my thing is, if you the daggone you got OG at the 3, or maybe you can have them at the 4, whatever. I just think that there's some flexibility. No, who knows? You can have Josh Hart starting playing, and you can have Josh Hart. So that lineup will be a little bit smaller, but at the same time, I think that you have the pieces. I think there's some flexibility there. But you're right. If I'm the Sixers, I'm a little concerned, because not only that, it's like a guy that you wanted, he goes to one of your competitors and make that team better. So it's like, here we go again. Not only do I got to deal with Boston, I got to deal with the Knicks having better talent. So, this is important. Like, if I'm the Sixers, if I can't get them, I sure as heck don't hope and pray that this dude does not go to New York. Go to Orlando if you want to, or stay out, but don't go to New York.
Because it quite possibly anchors the Sixers as the third team in that division,
no doubt.
And then it forces them to really start looking, and you hope during this process that they are looking at other places, and I'm sure that they are. There are other considerations out there, and we can talk about some of them in the next segment. But they're going to, if Paul George, it would change the way they play. But with the players they have, with the draft capital they have, they can do some tinkering now. The one thing about them is, was the physicality that the Knicks played with last year. You may have to give up a guy like Hardenstein or Mitchell Robinson and you may lose some of that. But what you do is you add a Greyhound, and like you said, a Greyhound is a future Hall of Famer, and you really don't necessarily want that in your division. If he's in your division, you want him on your roster. You don't want them somewhere else. So, and we can talk about that maybe a little bit more in the next segment. But right now, we want to talk some more about FanDuel. I love sports, and I love them so much, I never want them to stop. But the NBA playoffs have come to a grinding halt now, and we're going to just getting fewer games. And the sports aren't sporting like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com/locked-on and start making the most out of your summer. That's FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. So tell me, you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Sometimes you got to turn the volume down with all that shouting. Maybe you should make the switch to Locked On Sports today. A free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single solitary day.
Do it today, people. As my man Mitch says, do it. What is it? Do it into what?
Do it till the fluid gets hot.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. Do it. We rock and don't stop. It's the supercalifragilistic. That's old school right there.
I heard that one. Yeah.
That's old block party music right there.
Yeah, we had this dude. I forget my man's name, but he was a big time. He used to bring it was funny, man. It was like it would be the van that they had those food trucks in now.
Yeah.
But he would come down, the Diesel, his name was. He would come down like at the projects, and they were in the park in the project, and it was like everybody be down there jamming like the old heads. And he was like, it was all that. And it's funny because he was like the legend. Like, he was like the legend in the neighborhood. And my nephew, my cousin. Huh?
The DJ was a king. If you had,
he was a king. But the crazy part was my nephew was dating his daughter, and and then they have not my nephew, my cousin, but he's younger than me. So so they had a baby, and it was like, ain't you MC Diesel, whatever, daughter? And she like, yeah. It was crazy. Yeah, he's celeb. But while he is a celeb, Dejounte Murray is a celebrity in the Seattle area. You know what, man? I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to talk about him. But one of my bucket lists was, while I was on this beat, was going to Seattle, because that's really good basketball players that come out of there.
Yeah.
And especially his high school. He went to Rainier Beach, and some people call it Rainier, some people call it Rainier Beach, whatever. But Nate Robinson, Doug Christie, Jamal Crawford.
They all went to high school?
Bruh. Who else went there? Hey, I feel bad for this guy. I don't want to put his business up. But remember the guy a couple of years ago played for the Rockets who beat his girlfriend up? I hate to say that.
Yeah.
But he went there. And the reason why I'm saying is that's how many guys came out of this school, right? So get this, bro. You're going to laugh at this. One of their assistant coaches is from South Philly.
Oh, yeah?
He's been there for years. So Dejounte Murray comes from this high school that produces wings and guards. So he always had basketball in his pedigree. I think that if the price is right and you can make a trade, whatever, he would be a quality addition. Now, I'm hearing that some people are saying but who's going to have the hand on the ball? Some people are saying he's a combo guard. Now, I know he was a point guard when he was in Houston. He was an all-star. I mean, not Houston, the Spurs. He made the all-star team the year that he was traded to Atlanta, right? He was a point guard in high school. He's a point guard in college. Right now he's playing. They're sharing point guard duties in Atlanta. But me personally, I think that he can be a primary ball handler. Me personally, I think that he's a great defender, right? I think that now I know that some people may say he wasn't the last couple of years, like it was hyped up when he was with the Spurs. But I also think that he could come here. He's long, he's athletic. And if you can't get them other dudes that you want, I feel like him and Maxey could have a quality backcourt.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, he's cheaper. He's got like 4 years left on a deal. He's got about $117 million left on that deal. He's young. And something that I noticed about him is that he's averaged over 25 points per game and nearly 9 assists in games that Trae Young has missed. So when he's out there with Trae Young, he kind of and Trae Young needs to be a little in Atlanta. He needs to be a little bit more ball dominant than say Tyrese needs to be. And Tyrese is better off the ball. If you can get him in here, because I really see. I keep hearing people say that Murray is an off guard, but when you look at the numbers, man, he's really a point guard. And he's that big point guard who can see the court, got that height, can see the court. So I'm more so in like, you bring him here, and put him alongside Joel and Maxey. I mean, we were talking about just the trade deadline. I think that was the one guy with all the situations that were out there with, trading for guys who would be unrestricted free agents. Here's a guy you can bring him in here and say, okay, it's time to mount up with this guy. It hasn't worked for him in Atlanta, but how often do things work for anybody in Atlanta? You know what I mean? I mean, that's just kind of the way it is down there. It's a great city to live in, and you would think it'd be a great city to play NBA basketball in, but
that's one of the worst places.
Yeah, it just doesn't. I used to always want certain cities that can't have great populations like the Washington D.C. and Atlanta.
They're like the 3 worst places. I mean, let's keep it real, because here's the go. When you go to Atlanta, like you in hot Atlanta, everybody talking about, yo, you going to hot Atlanta for the game? And you're like, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. The culture, the this, the that. You walk in the arena and you're like, dang, look at all these empty seats. Yeah. Now, when they were in the playoffs against the Sixers, that was the place to be. Like, everybody came out. Like, it was like Celebrity Row, all the rappers that, everybody was out there. They were jamming in there. But, dude, go in that mug in like January. Like,
all you hear is
where the people at?
All you hear is the HVAC system.
What's going on? Like, nobody here. And then the same thing with like, no offense, but Charlotte, you go to the Queen City, and like I got boys that live down there, and they talking about, yo, man, this the best ticket in town. I'm like, why? Because it's cheap. Nobody comes. So it's empty. So I get you. If he wants to come to a real basketball city, and nothing against Atlanta, like I love it. It's cheap for them, the people there. As far as cost of living and everything, it's a great get your home. But that's more where NBA players go to retire.
Yeah.
Than play. Because it's the fan base.
It's kind of
yup. That's what I was about to say. It ain't even the Falcons. It's about the Georgia Bulldogs football team.
Falcons going to be good this year.
But still, they ain't the Bulldogs down there.
Yeah, it's all Bulldogs, man. And if you dig that college football, and I love college football,
I love it,
love it. But if you're an NBA player, and I always wonder, like I look at certain cities, man, particularly cities that are great, that wealthy African Americans love to live in. Cities like Houston, Washington. Atlanta. I think things will be changing in Houston pretty soon, but they just can't. You wonder why they can't. And it's the front offices, man. They just can't get it together and build a product. But if getting back to, and we've deviated a little bit, but man, if you can get The conversation was good, and it gives you an inside look on NBA culture. But yeah, if you can get Dejounte Murray at 117, what have we been talking about? The Methuselah Project. Everybody's too old to say. You can't satisfy Philadelphia fans. Jimmy Butler's too old. LeBron James is too old. Paul George is too old. There is that huge contingent, and that is a legitimate concern about their age. All right, if to satisfy that, maybe you need to look at some of the younger guys, people who are on that second tier, who aren't headed off yet, aren't headed off to the Hall of Fame, and say, hey man, we got to have these young bodies that are available to us. And a guy like Dejounte Murray, man. Sometimes it doesn't work in a few spots, but you find the right spot. Kelly Oubre found the right spot. And whether he comes back to the 76ers, what he did do is say, hey, look at me. I am very marketable and can play somewhere else. You bring in Dejounte Murray, you got 4 years to figure that out. So
I feel you, bro. I do. You got 4 years to figure it out, and let's see what goes on with that. But we'll be right back after this quick break to talk about the NBA draft. I said it was going to be quick.
That was true.
Here's the deal. So, Mitch, here's the deal. So
that's why they call you the Frankfurt Flash.
Frankfurt Flash, yeah. And it's funny though, because there was a dude who ran for Frankfurt who his nickname was Flash. But look, we was like, bro, you so fast. Why are you playing for the football team? Play for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. Man, you scared. I hope he's not listening, but that's how it was. So,
man, but speaking of Flash, did you? I know you saw some of those the Olympic trials yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I'm watching this I'm watching these kids.
Yeah, the boy from Bullis High School.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but you know what? He is great. But you know who the number 2 high school 400-meter runner is? He goes to Emotep. So yeah, it was really? Yeah. But that boy from Bullis.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But the funny part is every day he had on a different color uniform. Like you see how many unis they got. Like you can tell they legit.
That's that PG County money, man. They're gonna take care of them schools, man.
But that school costs a lot of money to go to, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least at the upper school. And when you start talking about the upper and lower school, that's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The upper school.
But I'm looking at him, I'm asking myself, how do you go from the Olympic trials in Oregon, in Eugene, and then go back to running high school track and field, the indoor events and all that, man? It's just like, so it's going to be interesting. That quick segue, how they developed that, because it's ridiculous watching a 16-year-old.
Did you see the pen relays when they dropped the baton? They dropped the baton and
he made it up.
He caught him. Yeah, he caught him in there. Yeah, he's legit, man. He's legit. Yeah, I just hope he doesn't burn out. Because you remember William Reed?
Who doesn't?
Yeah, William Reed wasn't quite that way, but he was running, I think, 45.
Yeah,
and then at Central High School, and then
William was big.
But it just you know what I'm saying. So some people
burn out.
Yeah, they burn out. Out. So I just hope the kid doesn't burn out. But heck, he'll make the Olympic team for the relay, so that'll work out. But
I tell you what, that a thing mood. That
was sad, wasn't it? That was sad. But you get this: the girl who won, Nia Ali. Guess where she went to college at? Nia Akins. I'm sorry.
Pitt.
Nah, bro. She went to Penn.
She went to Penn.
University of Penn.
Wow!
So
shout out to
the young lady, and then the young lady who finished second is from Delco. She went to Strathaven.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. Wow. It was a Philly. Yeah. So I am disappointed for the young lady who fell, but Philly representing, you know what I mean, in that thing. So.
A thing is from Trenton, so it could have been.
Yeah, she's from Trenton. Yeah, she's from Trenton. But yeah, Philly was representing for the first 2. So, and then the one girl from Laurel, Maryland, who took 3rd. So that's like for you, since you lay down in the DMV for a little bit.
Yeah.
But nah, that's enough. But look, y'all. So here's the deal. Who knows what the Sixers are going to do with this thing, this draft pick? But yeah, we in Locked On 76ers, we have to do a mock draft, right? And I'm looking at this mock, and it was our turn to pick. And I'm looking, boom, 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 boom. No Isaiah Collier?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What are they thinking? It took me a matter of 15 seconds.
Literally.
Literally to submit my thing. Right.
And if you didn't submit it, I was going to submit. I was thinking
like, huh? What are they smoking? Stuff like that. So to me, it's kind of like one of those things, man. If Isaiah Collier is available, if I'm the Sixers, I got to think long and hard about not drafting that young boy. What about you, Mitch? I mean, you already said you would do it too.
Yeah, I would do it, man. Only because, it's he was such a talent in high school, and that's kind of, almost a consensus number one pick. The kid from Imhotep was right there with him, and but this kid was pretty much the consensus number one pick coming out. And he played well. He didn't live up to the billing, but hardly anybody when they're an elite top 3 athlete coming out of high school and they go to a large university and a mega program. Hardly anybody lives up to the billing, and that's but he's just 19 years old. He's got a man's body. He has the skills. He's got an NBA game. It just has to be honed. And we'll see if he's there. I kind of don't think that he'll be there when the 76ers pick. But I think if he is there, and if you can also solve your problem, say with the Zach Edey, you can possibly solve that problem with him and get your big man. You have another slow. I mean, you don't play with a whole lot of pace with Joel, and that's one thing in the NBA. You want pace, but you do have a guy who looks like he can be a certifiable big man in the league. So the 16th pick might not be all that bad for them if they do in fact keep it. But I'm with you, man. I think you go with Collier, and that's you're going with the upside right there.
Yeah, but here's another guy's names that I like as well. I like Tristan Da Silva from Colorado. Now, I like him. He's long. He's 6'8". He's kind of like in a Tobias Harris mode. People are saying, that type of, he could play the 3, he could play the 4, but he could shoot the ball better than Tobias. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, you expect him because he can shoot the ball better than Tobias. Let's just put it out there. But right now, Tobias is a better scorer than he is in regards to getting into pick and rolls and doing stuff like that. I think that he could be a quality asset for the Sixers. Now, the crazy thing is he was one of these guys who, was a senior. He graduated. As a junior, he was first team All Pac-12. As a senior, he got second team All Pac-12. But he's, older. He's 23. I believe he's 23. But he's the type of guy that you can look at as a plug and play type of guy, right? And then there's a guy, Khalil Ware. He was a freshman at Indiana. He's about 7 feet, 6'11", 7 feet. A slender guy, but he's one of those new wave kind of centers that they're really athletic. That he's a rim protector. He can shoot. He can do a lot of things. So they're going to have some options. But, the thing is, then there's another guy, Devin Carter, who was, at Providence. His father, Anthony Carter, played in the NBA. I believe he's an assistant coach he is assistant coach with the Memphis Grizzlies. He's another older guy who the Sixers can get. He could be a quality defender. And that's what he does. From the guard position, he's an elite rebounder from the guard position. Yeah. So, but if I had everything, the fact with Isaiah Collier, I think if I had to gamble on somebody, he would be the one that I would gamble on. Yeah. Just because of his pedigree, just because in the right situation, I feel like he can excel. He's 6'5". Right. You know what I mean? He's a pretty good player.
And the one thing about having that pick and then just and being drafted by the 76ers because there's so many roster spots available. I think guys looking at, the agent's going to tell whoever gets drafted there and say, hey, you got an opportunity right here. You have an opportunity. Yes, they're a perceived playoff team. And you hear all the talk about Paul George and Jimmy Butler, but that roster's empty right now. So you can go there and, and that's why you might even want to consider one of the older players, 23 years old, man. The guy who comes in there and says, hey, it's time, it's man time. Let me go out here and get my man on here at the NBA level.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So it's going to be it's going to be extremely interesting for the 76ers. It really is. But before we go, y'all, let y'all know that Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. And now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channel app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On Plus, our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free, like I said, free Fire TV channels app. Do it today, people. Definitely do it today. And another thing you said always, right?
Always do it.
Always do it. But another thing we want y'all to do is make sure that y'all beat the heat, man. Like, stay cool. It's about to get hot out there again. And so make sure that, wherever you guys are, that, do what you got to do and be safe out there. For my man Mitch and Keith, I'm trying to say deuces. Have a great day.
Yeah, it's hot like it. Do the right thing hot out there today.
No doubt.